Only 20 sick call soldiers were seen and the rest were turned away. This is a congressional investigation all in itself. Someone is going to get turned away and die or worse. So when they did have sick call, you could only take 20 guys, and everyone else had to wait till the next day. Didn't even fucking matter how fucked up you were. That's fucked up, bro. Hello, everybody. Terrence Popp here with another episode of Live from the Lair. And I got a lot of comments, a couple emails about this unofficial AR that I wrote that I keep talking about. Well, I'm going, after this episode or shortly thereafter, I'm going to have it posted on redonkulous.com in a PDF format so you guys can download it and read it yourself. But I'm going to read it for you right now. Probably have to break this up into 2 episodes because it's kind of like 12, 13 fucking pages long. And then, so what are you going to do? You got to bear with me. I'm going to put on my reading glasses here. All right, so this is the AR for the Mobe of the 425 Infantry at Fort Bliss, Texas, as seen from the eyes of the enlisted. Let's see. Number 1, condition of facilities at McGregor Training Center. Chow and food. Initial barracks received. Gym. Transportation to training sites. The TMC or lack thereof, plus poor medical treatment from medics. CIF, SRP, ranges, and maintenance. Issues that need to be mentioned. The smothering safety procedures remove all training value, lack of ammo, and poor coordination for ammo. Got to train with ammo. If you don't have it, you can't train. Units providing training were of poor caliber and not subject matter experts. Misreading our mobilization order removed more than a month from our training cycle. So basically, they fucked up our order and we missed out on a month of training. The 425 Infantry is a combat unit and has no business at Fort Bliss. Poor training sites as it pertains to infantry operations, and SASO training as it pertains to our mission, plus refusal of trainers to accept our input. Now, SASO was an acronym they used back then for, sustainment operations and blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember what it was. It's stupid. Okay, now we're going to get into the meat here. You guys are going to love this. Now, keep in mind, this was written by, I believe, 7 other NCOs. They gave their reports to me, and I rewrote them in my own Conan fucking dialect with my flair for being sarcastic and an asshole at the same time. So, you guys will love this. Our experience here at McGregor has been one of absolute agony by the way of quote-unquote bullshit. The personnel here cannot be trusted to plan a square dance. This generalization applies to the highest command of this fiasco called a Mobe. The soldiers, the 425, are only prepared for their deployment for operations in harm's way because of their own efforts. Very little credit can be given to the Mobe site except for issues pertaining to supply and maintenance. Okay, Chow Hall. Okay, the Chow Hall. As the Chow Hall goes, the place was not that bad. The flexibility of hours and constant flow of hot soup and coffee was appreciated. The tent atmosphere did take away from the whole mood of a dining experience. The trash was always empty and the service was always with a smile. The layout was well thought out and made the flow of personnel move quickly and smoothly. The food, on the other hand, became unbearable within 3 weeks of our arrival. On several occasions, the eggs could be drank from a glass, but there is only so much that can be done with UGRs. We understand this and give the Chow Hall at McGregor a pass. The Chow situation at Fort Hood, for our brothers, the Iowa unit, was completely unacceptable. Their chow was trucked in the morning and the evening at random times, thus making planning around chow very difficult. The morning eggs were raw, the sausage was also raw. This was a severe health hazard as well, and just fucked up. Of course I didn't spell fucked up. I just said F asterisk asterisk ED up because, I knew generals would read this and stuff. And, not that they haven't heard profanity before, but, I just want to, push my luck. Okay, orange juice was made with piping hot water, and Kool-Aid and lemonade were so strong they had to be cut with hot water just to be fit to drink. The milk was 6 months out of expiration and the salad dressing and spoiled. This problem could have been solved if the personnel cared enough to just inspect the chow before accepting it. This chow was prepared by an existing dining facility. There is no excuse for this at all. Severe repercussions should fall upon the OIC of the facility for allowing this to happen. Yeah, there was raw meat. I mean, it was. We went to Fort Hood to do call for fire training, and we were there for 3 or 4 days. And of course, they bust us there and bust us back, so we lost a day just to go there, train for 3 days, and a day to come back. It was absolute bullshit. All right, barracks. Upon our arrival, we were put into an H building to hold 160 soldiers plus all their equipment, to include MTOW equipment. This gave the barracks the feel of a warehouse, the soldiers sleeping on piles and crates of their necessary equipment. The heat on one side of the building did not function until 2 days before F Company left. And that was only because one of our soldiers investigated the problem and fixed it. As a result of the overcrowding and lack of heat in the building, sickness ran rampant throughout the ranks. Among the most popular were strep throat, bronchitis, and the flu. The effects of this are still being felt, and the hospital personnel were heard talking about the McGregor cough. Additional buildings were requested, and we were threatened with being moved to a large circus tent where security of our equipment and personal belongings would be impossible. After 1 month, we were given an extra building, but overcrowding of the main element was still a factor, and this was never solved. Again, I must fall back on the generalization that the personnel of this post are apparently not capable of planning a square dance. I wish I was a fly on the wall when those fuckers read this thing up there in the Pentagon, man. They must have thrown a fucking fit. The gym. Okay, first point, having a gym is critical to morale of any unit. The free weights in the gym were a lifesaver. More equipment should be added to the room. During Sasso, one of the 10 huts had weight equipment in it just wasting away. It would make sense if it could be moved to where it could be used at McGregor. Let's see. We, as a combat unit, following the guidance of at least half a dozen ARs from the theater, were implementing the recommendation to train on hand-to-hand combat. We began training on this task immediately upon our arrival. We, as a unit, were using the wrestling mats for this purpose. Within a week, the mats were locked up so they could not be used. The word given to us that one person wanting to bounce a basketball in the gym was reason enough to remove the mat from the floor. There were 6 basketball hoops in the gym, and the mat only took up a small corner of the floor area. This is a prime example of your GSU not supporting our mission and not supporting our training. The punching bag was poorly anchored to the wall, broke the first night it was used by the 425. And as of December 12th, 2003, a note was left by the Ops Sergeant, Captain Lewis Dess, to have it repaired. It is still broken upon leaving the facility 8 weeks later. Let's see, there was at least a dozen cardio exercise machines. Only one was functional. The only equipment operational in the gym was the weight room, the basketball court. The gym hours were more than adequate, though erratic at times, but those who chose to use the facility found little difficulty in finding the time during operational hours. Okay. Transportation to training sites. During our stay here at the Mobe site, we were transported via commercial bus to each and every training site. The buses were of good quality and in fair to good running order. Only on a few occasions did the proper amount of buses not report to pick us up. Also, the buses were clean and well kept inside. let's see. On only one occasion was the portable lavatory in the back of the bus in need of service. My only negative comment was the extreme cost of this expense when we could have, when we could not get enough ammo to fire our weapons to the level of proficiency needed by a combat unit. This would be covered in another section. Okay, TMC or lack thereof. For those of you that don't know what that is, it basically stands for the medical clinic. It's where you go for sick call, scrapes and bruises, and if you have like a runny nose or fever or some shit, you go there and they're supposed to treat you. All right, hospital ER number 1. It was slow, long wait time, like most hospitals. This is the norm. Rude, treated troops like idiots. We were not welcome. We were called to active duty, and there are many soldiers who need medical attention from time to time. There is no reason for their unprofessional behavior. Basically, the people at the ER were calling us shammers and shitbags and all of their stuff. Now, we're National Guard people. A lot of these guys put down their fucking civilian lives, left fucking family, jobs and shit to come here, at the call of the country to go to war, and they treat you like that. It's fucking horse shit. Pediatrics. Pediatrics for kids, but they sent us there. Rude, treated troops like they were trying to get out of PT. Pissed, constant, pissing contests between ER and pediatrics about who covers weekend sick call. This caused resentment towards the soldiers and further exacerbated poor treatment. TMC main post, extremely slow, way too many patients. The order of treatment was usually broke down into this order: permanent party, basic, and AIT, and mobilizing troops. By the time the mobilizing troops were seen, there was next to no diagnosis made, and everyone had sinusitis. One soldier from my company was treated in this manner. He was hastily treated, given medication in too high of a dose, and almost died from profuse bleeding through his lower intestine. Obviously a bad reaction to the medicine. Yes, that really happened. We were back there at McGregor, and he started bleeding out his ass, and the ambulance people didn't have the fire department didn't even have a fucking ambulance. We had to throw them in a vehicle and run them to the main post. But I think I'll touch on that later. All right, McGregor. It took almost a month before the TMC at McGregor opened, so we were there a month without any sick call. There were times when there was no medical coverage at all. When it finally opened, the return to duty times did improve, but why did it take so long to get coverage? We were also told in our in-brief that the fire department had an ambulance and paramedic support. This fallacy became painfully obvious when the civilian licensed paramedics had to give emergency medical aid to a soldier who was having a heart attack at McGregor. This wasn't one of my soldiers, this was another unit. The fire department showed up 10 minutes later and stood there and watched while the patient was stabilized and transported to the helipad with our vehicles after we called in the helicopter medevac. Even our soldiers had to wait 2 hours while profusely bleeding from his rectum to get transported to the hospital. Is it too much to ask that the fire department work and maintain a standard now that there are actually people here? Okay, you're going to love this one. Sick call quota. Today on February 4th, 2004. I don't think that's right. I think it's supposed to be January 4th. Only 20 sick call soldiers were seen and the rest were turned away. Do you have any idea how wrong this is? This is a congressional investigation all in itself. Someone is going to get turned away and die or worse. This is utter insanity. So when they did have sick call, you could only take 20 guys, and everyone else had to wait till the next day. It didn't even fucking matter how fucked up you were. That's fucked up, bro. I'm only like a third into this thing. CIF. Okay, CIF was as it should be. It was well run, in good order, and there were the usual shortage of those of the freakish sizes. You know, people have size 14 feet. You're not getting boots right away. It's just not going to happen. and went smooth and by the numbers. The only negative is needs to be more personnel to help run the facility. The person in charge deserves a commendation for running it so well with a skeleton crew assigned. See, I'm not just fucking banging on everybody. If people did a good job, or if it was at least to standard, we were honest about it in this thing. We wouldn't lie about anything. This really fucking happened. All right. SRP site. The actual site where shots and mandatory briefings were administered appeared to go smoothly at first glance, but loss to medical records caused some delay and confusion. Several members had to return in following days because of oversights by the SRP staff. The sign-in logs for stations were reviewed, and soldiers did sign in only to be miscounted and sent back. This again took time away from the training of the soldiers. The large event that I found the most disturbing is the 47 soldiers that were cleared by the legal station only to be told that the person who cleared them did not work there. This oversight amounted to 30% of our unit. How is this allowed to happen and is still a mystery? Our state of Michigan did our SRP in a weekend. Perhaps this GSU at Fort Bliss should call them for guidance. I'm such a dick. All right, I'm going to go through one more here, and then I'll break this up into a couple here. Ranges. My first experiences with your ranges was getting up at 0500 hours, only to be turned back at 1130 hours because the ammo coordination was not done properly. One would think that this is your full-time job. You could get ammo to the ranges in a timely manner. The next day, we again got up at 0500 hours to start shooting at 1000 hours. Again, there was an ammo coordination problem. Please keep in mind that this problem happened back to back. This learning curve needs to be fixed. A horse is a horse, and ignorance is ignorance. When we are finally allowed to run our own ranges, the time and training value did increase. I got more time here. Ammo. Ammo is the lifeblood of a combat soldier. Ammo is used to build technique, skill, confidence in your weapon systems. You need to have that if you're a combat soldier. If you think your weapons are not going to work, going into combat is very terrifying, and some of my men had to deal with that later on down the road. Ammo for training is key when training for combat. We are not CS, which is combat service, or combat service support, CSS, unit. We are infantry. We fight. I cannot put it any simpler than that. While here, we fired 24 rounds to 0, 40 rounds to qualify. We were then given 120 rounds of blank ammo for the entire SASO training block. Who in their right mind signed off on this? We have been called away from our homes and families for hostile operations. We are owed a chance to be trained properly and given the tools to obtain that objective. I and all the soldiers resent the fact that we were just checking the block to be moved into theater. As an 11 Bravo, we are supposed to fire an AT-4, use a Claymore mine, throw a hand grenade, fire the 203 grenade launcher, fire our cruise serve weapons, fire the Mark 19 grenade launcher, fire the 50 cal machine gun, almost none of which had taken place. While in theater, we will be expected to execute any number of tasks. Most will involve infantry duties, and accomplishing with bare minimum is not an option when my soldiers are in the game. May God have mercy on your souls, you miserable wretches. I was a little charged up when I wrote that one. Training and safety. Safety is very important, but a compromise must be made. Soldiers that are going into harm's way need the necessary programming and training because one only fights as they trains. This is a true statement. When is a convoy under attack going to halt the action so they can all safely exit the vehicle, get online, on the ground, then lock and load and return fire? Well, I will tell you, when cold beer is served in hell, if the soldier cannot be trusted with his or her weapon, guess what? The soldier does not go forward into theater. As for my unit, we gleaned almost no value from your training packages because of the stifling, overbearing safety measures. Again, most of these problems would go away if more ammo could be expended in training. All right, so I'm going to finish reading this up to you. We're at 20 minutes, so let me see where I'll mark it right here, and we will continue on, gentlemen. And when I get done with all of these AAR, when I get done reading this, there should be 2, maybe even possibly 3 episodes. This is going to be posted so you can all download it and read it for yourself, because it's fucking crazy. It's absolutely shameful that the United States Army fucking did this shit to my guys. You know, I heard some people got fucked up because of my AAR, and you know, 2 full-bird colonels got retired, the one at Drum and the one at Bliss. So they didn't get a chance to get their star, and they got sent down the road. Fuck them, they had to come in. Especially the guy at Bliss who left me sitting in his desk, sitting in his office all day and wouldn't take me because I wanted to talk to him for the open door policy. So that's the way it goes, gentlemen. You know, like I said to a couple of officers in my career, you know those creepy old NCOs you run into and you don't like? Well, I'm that fucking guy. So button up, motherfucker, because it's going to get ugly in here. Anyway, gentlemen, take it easy. I'll talk to you later.